Elin's going to be sick of seeing me.
Do you live here now? Moving in slowly?
Anyway, back at the Rusty Beauties garage, shop, whatever you want to call it. And Elin's working on customer's car, doing what he should be doing. And I'm going to start the body work on this beauty out here. So we're just going to probably concentrate on I only got a couple of hours out here. It's actually fairly hot out here too. So I think we're just going to concentrate on this area here today and this area here. And that'll be it for today. We're going to break this into short chunks and see how we do. So the plan is to just do really, really rough body work. We're not going to go crazy with this. We had already sort of pointed out that this car has some pretty significant flaws that we're not going to be able to fix. For example, the beading is supposed to be a bead, obviously, that runs all the way across down here, like there is here. It's a painted bead, but it's missing, and I'm not sure if the bead actually got welded into the fender, but the fenders are actually welded across the top here. Not going to be able to fix that, but we'll definitely be able to fix this flaking Bondo a little bit, just make this a little bit more solid. We're also planning on trying to do a little bit of a faux patina on this. So I've got some primer. So the base coat would be primer. Then we'll do a little bit of white paint. Then we'll do a little bit of red paint. We're just going to use regular Rust-Oleum. Then we're going to sand it back to try to get to this kind of look in the repair areas. So we'll give it a shot and see how we do. Can't make it any worse, right?
No.
So we can only make it look better. Well, you want to just leave it. You want to leave it just like it is.
Exactly.
But I don't think I can go that far. No.
You're going far.
Got to fix it. Got to fix that anyway a little bit. So.
It's your car.
It's our car.
Okay.
Okay, we've just got the angle grinder out with an 80 grit disc, and we've just cleaned it up as far as we want to go, just to where the Bondo looks like it's going to stick. There's no cracks in it, so we're going to leave, like I said, we're not going to go crazy. We're going to just leave existing stuff that looks fairly solid. But I just wanted to give you a quick look of that repair that was done in this area back here back in the day, I guess. And they've just taken a flat sheet basically and brazed it in here and then wrapped the whole sheet over the top, right over top of the beading. So anyway, here's what it is. So maybe this will give you a bit more of an idea why I don't want to actually do a full concourse restoration on this car. It would be an absolute nightmare to actually even try to get these fenders off now, having all this brazed in material and the fenders basically welded on. So that would all have to be cut off and probably need new fenders in all honesty, especially with the repairs that have been done to it up here. So anyway, we're going to be happy when this is done and with some patina. All right, so the rear corner is done. Well, at least it's primered. And there is a little bit of voids in the filler here and there, but hey, I'm not going for perfection. I told Elin I bought one block for this car, and that's that little guy right there. So we're not going to go crazy. Anyway, that area is done, and we'll let the primer dry, sand it down to 400 grit, and then we'll do our faux painting job. So the next area I'm going to look at is this area here. So we're just going to strip this down, and we'll start getting some fiberglass filler in this area to make that look a little bit better. All right, my allotted time for today is up. So it's making progress. It's looking better here. This is just a couple coats of primer here, obviously the body work. We did fiberglass filler first, then Bondo. It's not perfect. There's still some little pits here and there, but I'm not too worried about that. And this is definitely looking much better than it did. There's a little bit of a whoop-de-doo at the bottom, but we're just going to leave that. So next step for this is to sand it down to probably 400 grit, and then we'll break out the white base coat and the red top coat, and then we'll probably break out a Scotch-Brite or some fine sandpaper, probably 240 grit, to bring that back to look something like this on the bonnet.
Yes,
All right, so we'll push her back in for now, and we'll come back another day.
and if you think that what he just did was ridiculous, don't you think that that car that you bought last month or last year is not fixed the same way? I guarantee you it is.
So Elin's concerned that we're not leaving enough rust on it.
Yeah, it's
So-
not a Rusty Beauty anymore.
I don't know, there's rust underneath it. I didn't treat the rust, so it'll probably end up rusting back through the primer. We're going to leave the sills. We're going to leave this little chipping around the door. So there's going to be some rust on it.
Okay.
So trust me, there's enough rust inside the
My
bonnet.
rusty rack here.
You're going to have a nice rusty rack and a few other rusty bits. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you on the next one. All right, it's the next day at the Rusty Beauties garage, and I'm over here for another couple of hour session to work on the bodywork. So yesterday we did this side of the car, and there's not much more I want to do on this side, except maybe this little area here. Actually, we may even just leave that as is. But there is a couple of spots I want to correct on the passenger side. Oh, I should say, I haven't done the lower fender. So underneath the front fender there, the sill area is pretty rough. So that needs some fiberglass, but we need to actually straighten the floor drops before we look at that area. So we're going to leave that till the very end. This side and the other side we're going to do at the very end. But I'm quite actually happy with the way that turned out. This is a little rough, but it was always going to be based on the fact that it's missing that beading there across the top. It's pretty wavy. But over here we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're just going to fix the areas where we need to fix. So probably fix this area back here, this little area here, and maybe a little bit of filler work here just to get rid of that hole. And we'll probably strip some of the Bondo out here. Following up to this area here, it's a pretty good actual dent right here. So we're going to strip some of this stuff out of here. And then we'll leave that there on the door. We'll fix that at a later date. We'll definitely fix this, although Elin, I think, would prefer that I keep this. But we're going to actually fix that a little bit. And we'll fix this little rusty bit up on the nose and this little flaky bit down here probably. Other than that, I think that's all we're going to touch. I'm not going to worry about all this stuff at the front of the bonnet. So there's a little bit of a area here at the front that's chipping off. Maybe we'll look at that. I don't know. But anyway, let's get crack-a-lackin'. All right, let's have a quick look at what's under that mess over here. Not pretty. I'm actually quite happy I'm not going to try to restore this to a concours condition, as we'll be looking at a lot of new panels on this car. So we got some holes over here. We'll fill those up with some fiberglass filler. And then a lot of brazing in patches here, some pretty deep depressions here, here, here. Again, and obviously in here as well. So to clean up that area down there and this area back here a little bit. I have to dig a little bit more filler out of here. But yeah, it's pretty rough. But anyway, we're going to get the filler out. Again, we'll start with fiberglass filler just over these welded areas, and then we'll switch to just some regular Bondo over top of that once we smooth that down a little bit. So we've just feathered it out to where the paint and primer is still sticking. So we'll work to that edge and be done with this area. So we'll break out the fiberglass filler and go to town. All right, we got her all sanded down, and look at this professional job here with the masking tape so we don't get the primer on the chrome beading and on this trim here. Not so sure if we're protecting the interior bits, but anyway, that's looking better. And I don't think I showed you this up here when I stripped it down, but that's looking better. And that's looking better, I think. We're not going overboard, that's for sure. But anyway, let's throw some primer on it and see how good it really looks. There's going to be a few pinholes here and there, but we're not too concerned about that. All right, that's all the allotted time I have on this project for today. So we've got it primered up with a couple coats of high build primer, and again, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was. I've got a couple check marks here. I guess I dug in my DA there. Still a little bit wavy, just like Elin likes it. Still some little gougey things here where the bead was sort of bondoed over. This area, again, a couple little spots that are not great. And then this area actually probably looks the best out of all the areas up the front. So anyway, I got a body. I sort of still have a body line in there. I kind of
doesn't match.
I manufactured a body line there a little bit because there wasn't one.
Doesn't much.
It didn't go all the way, unfortunately, but hey, what are you gonna do? I'm cheap labor, cheap labor, cheap results. Anyway, so I think it's looking better than it did. So next step obviously is to figure out the faux painting somehow. So we'll come back, we'll do a little bit of sanding with 400 grit on the primer to smooth that out a bit, and then we're going to do the faux painting of faux patina, kind of blend it in to make it look something like, I think I mentioned this before, make it look something like this, the way that bonnet looks. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. We're going to leave some of these bits like I'd mentioned before, because Elin wants to see some rust on the car. So I think we'll leave this over here, we'll leave this on the door. So not too many other areas to fix below the front fenders, as I mentioned. The rear valence will probably need a little bit of work, but other than that, I think that's it for body work, outside of those two major projects on the bottoms of the front fenders. All right, that's it for now. We'll put it back in the barn, and we'll come back on another day. All right, I've spent an extraordinary amount of time sanding this car to get it to be perfect. About 20 minutes. Anyway, it's sanded down with 400 grit where it needs to be, and we've just cleaned it with the panel prep, so the paint will stick where we want it to stick, at least before we end up sanding it off. Here's what we're using for panel prep. So everything is cleaned off. It doesn't look too bad. So we're going to mask off the areas that we need to mask, and then we'll get ready to spray some paint. Exciting times. One last look. Nice, looking better. What do you think, Bella? Looking better? Yeah, absolutely. Looking Bella. All right. Let's tape this thing up. All right, no going back now. So first coat of white's on. We'll throw another coat on after this dries. Seems to be reacting with the paint underneath already, which is interesting. See how you can sort of run it turning pinkish? So maybe the solvents in the paint are in here. Oh well, it's just going to give it more of a patina. I'd be a little concerned if I was working on something that needed to be competing in the Riddler Award. But not here. All right, wait for this to dry. It's not exactly the proper painting day either. It's extremely high humidity out here, threatening rain, but we're out here painting. We'll give it 20 minutes, hit it with another coat. So I've been catching Elin in the background watching my painting techniques. So, you know, once he gets to painting the GT6, he'll know what to do. So,
yeah, that's why you make me close the door.
Yeah, he's been...
garage door when you paint, so I don't see your techniques.
That's right. I'm keeping all my secrets to myself. All right, so this is the last time you'll see it in white. We're just about to go to the red Rust-Oleum. So, yeah, we'll see what it looks like after the red. Oh, I missed the spot. There's a big dent right there. And there's another dent over here. But anyway, that's the last time you'll see red. Well, red. Last time you'll see white, it's going to be red, and then we'll let it dry, and then we'll do the sand through and see what it looks like. You know, we could end up sanding this all completely right back off because it'll look like crap, but you never know.
We want it to look like crap. The only reason why I agreed for you to use paint was because you were going to use Rust-Oleum paint.
Oh, okay.
There was rust in it, so
right.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So there is the last of the white. We'll go to the red coat. And like I said, we'll put her away in the barn, let her dry, come back another day. All right. 100% chance of rain in the next hour, Elin says. So got to get this thing back in the barn. Anyway, it's painted. So for anybody that wants to know what color we painted it, it's apple red by Rust-Oleum. So there's what it looks like. How's my body work? Not bad. Not bad for not caring. Yeah. Little ripply here and there. Look at that shine. And this we left intentionally crusty along the top here. But it's looking better. Actually, I think I can feel misting out here now. Yeah, well, that'll be good for the paint. So that looks better. That looks better than it did, I think. Hard to remember what it looked like now. All right, this area up here. Hey, look at that shine. Oh. Oh. Oh, cow. That is ready for the concourse. All right, let's untape it, unmask it, get it ready to go back in the barn.